Hey, can you do
Hey.
can you do the pasta?
Yeah, why? Where are you?
I'm in Brooklyn.
You're in Brooklyn on the way home?
Yeah.
How many minutes you gonna be?
Oh, like 30 minutes, half hour.
Okay. Maybe we're gonna wait for you.
Where are you? You in
We're
Times Square?
still in the playing area.
Oh, okay. So as we get close, we keep in touch.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm coming from downtown, so I'm gonna.
Oh, you're coming from downtown?
Yeah, yes.
Because we got a big bowl.
Yeah, I know, but you see, it's gonna be 1 hour because it's half hour just
Okay.
to our home, but from our home to the Times Square is another 20 minutes, half hour. It's gonna be like 1 hour.
Oh, okay. No problem.
Yeah. Are you
Okay.
you gonna do the pasta?
Can you do the pasta?
Okay, I do. And I'll be in touch when you get close to the city. Okay.
No, it's fine. I'm just gonna take the subway.
Okay.
Can you do the pasta?
Yeah, I can do. Yeah.
Okay.
See you later.
Good night. See you.
The owner helped me quite a bit. So he thought, what is this sort of tough-talking girl doing here? And let's see what she's got. And so also it was right. The Yankees were never a problem. Never. What goes on in the group that we can't see? I think a lot of it is just logistics. Like if you need.
Yeah, I need to get something from. I have a headache.
Advertising
Pain like mouth
going
pain.
out. Now with computers, you can look up. You don't have to ask
Get
somebody,
something
what
like
did this
Tylenol
guy do
or
last
something.
August? Now you can look it up and
Like, share, subscribe. Welcome everybody. Welcome. What's up?
with a partner, and you have to have a great insight into what your partner's going to say, and that takes time. John and I did this for over 20 years, so we sort of finished each other's sentences. But it's a lot of things to stay on the air and keep your interactions short, because the people who are listening to you, you have to draw them a picture. They can't see it. So I think what you spend your time on in a booth, besides getting the ads in so you stay on the air, is making sure that your listener can make a picture in their mind of what is going on the field. It's very different from television. So radio is very, very different. What would be your most famous call? You had so many big stars. Do you remember some of the real top names that even a joke like me would know? Well, Derek Jeter's 3,000 hit was one of the most extraordinary things I ever saw, because it was a home run, and then he ran around the bases.
Like, share, subscribe.
He looked up at his mother, and you could see them. And Derek had two smiles. He had one for us, and he had one for his family. And he smiled at his family with that smile that he only saves for them. And I said to myself, oh gosh, I hope somebody saved that. Somebody got that, and they did. I think the most famous thing was in 1989, Cindy. I was in the upper deck at Candlestick Park.
Davey, welcome, Davey. Happy
And for some
Sunday.
reason, known only to Bell Telephone or whatever it was out there, my phone line did not go out. So I was on the air during the earthquake and talked what I saw for a really long time. I think that's the thing that I'll remember most. Did you ever blow it? Sure, don't we all? Well, I could hardly say that. But everybody does things that there was something that I did that got a lot of attention, and I didn't know why, but I was really hammered for this. I guess, gosh, it's a long time ago. Roger Clemens made one of his, remember way back, he decided to unretire in the middle of the year. And he was sitting in George Steinbrenner's booth. And no, I didn't know. Nobody told us that he was going to do that. Roger Clemens and I have been friends for years and years and years. But no, I didn't know. Well, John Sterling decided, seventh inning stretch, he had to go to the men's room. And this was, I think it was like one of my first years. So I'm by myself in the booth, and John's not there. And we come back, and all of a sudden, remember seeing how the old stadium used to shake? All of a sudden, people started screaming, and the thing started shaking, and I thought the stadium was coming down, and I didn't know what was going on. And then I looked up at the scoreboard, and there was a picture of Roger Castillo's booth. And I remember what I said, because I got blasted for it. I said, oh my goodness gracious, if this isn't the most dramatic thing I've ever seen, and Roger Clemens is in George's back. And people, other writers, thought I should be fired for that because I was so emotional. And the fact was that Jack left me, he was in the bathroom, and I thought the stadium was coming down. So I just tried to cover as best I could. Now, by the way, 20 years later, people want me to sign Susan Rodman. Goodness gracious.
What happens if these guys are running around and they have to pee?
Well, they have bathrooms in Yankee Stadium. Not right out on the field. They can't make it. If they shift so back to their bladder between the accident to go into the nice, wonderful bathroom in the Yankee dugout, then there's other problems. Now, that's an interesting question. But there are places that don't have good bathrooms in the building, but not Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium won't do anything for you. They bring them a bathroom if they need it.
How can you bring a bathroom on the second?
It's off the right field to the dugout. And whenever you see somebody that's white coming out, running around to the field, usually it's making a pit stop.
Okay. So you are considered a trailblazer. I mean, because you're the first, are you the only?
I'm still the only full-time in the booth, yes. There are other women now that do 60 games, home games, a lot of women do sideline reporting, but nobody's there every day, so it's your time, though. It's a little dancing. You really got somebody else to really
Are you there every day? Well, I'll be there. I was there on opening day. I mean, I'll be there. But I don't understand a thing. I don't know why middle-aged guys are running around in bloomers. I just don't understand that.
And they're not middle-aged anymore. Unless you think 30 is middle-aged. Is that middle-aged now?
Well, it is to me, honey. It's early age. It's kindergarten at that age. But why are they doing that? They're grown-up men wearing bloomers, running around with socks up their behind.
Well, they don't wear bloomers anymore. They're a little more form-fitting now, and they're getting paid a fortune. So, no, I think it's just it is such an escape for people. And baseball is, I think actually it's a throwback, and people feel like they did when they were children, when they used to go to a ball game or whatever time with their grandfather or their grandmother. And it's a lot of us, when we grew up, and I know a lot of people, that the only thing they could talk to their parents about growing up was sports. Because there was something that they shared. There was something very eternal about baseball, and I don't think it's ever going away, thank goodness.
And that's for sure. Not smart, of course, smarter than I, but when our kids, they play out in the street, they play spitball, or they play all kinds of baseball, and they have a string ball. What the hell is it about a crappy little piece of string that you're throwing around like an idiot? I don't understand it.
Well, because yes, you do. You understand competition, and people want to compete, and they want to connect with other people, and I think that they just do that. And whether it is stickball, which you played in the streets, not everybody has gloves, and not everybody can afford bats and gloves and cleats and stuff. When the guys I know used to play stickball that played in the streets of Brooklyn, it was just a way to connect with their heroes who were getting paid a lot of money to do that. So I just think it's something that really you concentrate on, because who used to call it the sandbox of the newspapers? It's like a playtime, but now it's a big business.
How did the guys in the early days, before you became famous and we all knew who you were, how did guys feel about you in the early days when you were schlepping around?
To tell you the truth, it wasn't usually the players. What it was the people who gave out the assignments at the radio station, or the people who took in my taped interviews, or the people I worked with. The players' problems became very public because they're famous. And the problem when you're a female doing something is that the people that are making the decisions, I think you're taking a job away from what they call a real reporter, meaning male.
Yeah.
And I think that was the problem. I had a few problems with players, but not many. I mean, I had producers that used to change my tape so that I'd sound like a moron on the air. They did.
How did they do that?
Remember the days when it used to be tape. We actually used to cut tape, and you'd have to send it back into the station. Now it's done electronically. They take your interview, and they can stop it and edit, and then start it again, take out some words, and you can look like a fool.
Oh
They
my
used to do
God.
that to me for a very long time, because they thought I was taking the job away from a male.
Do you remember some other little sticks that were good?
Well, besides that was the worst. It was at every level. There were guys at the station that when I was the talk show host didn't want to talk to me, didn't want to hear a Yankee report, but then that started selling for a lot of money, so they had to. But there were all kinds of little things like that. And when you went to other cities, people would
Like, share, subscribe.
treat you very well. I sat in the press box at Yankee Stadium for a solid year and nobody talked to me.
Oh,
Never
my.
went to lunch with anybody, never talked to anybody. A few every now and then would say hello. But that first year was very, very tough. And then they get used to you.
What about Steinbrenner when he returned to the Yankees in 93 or something? How was it like with Steinbrenner? Was it
Well,
different?
I met George in '87, and I got to tell you, Cindy, except for my mother and my grandfather, George Steinbrenner was the most important person in my life, because he thought, because I would chase him down the corridors to get interviews, because he would always make himself around, but you couldn't talk to him. And once I demanded an interview because he was talking to the guys, but said, you're not going to be part of this because you're a girl. So I went down to Tampa to interview him, and I think he kind of liked that. And he had said to me in '88, one of these days, Waldman, he always called me Waldman, one of these days, Waldman, I'm going to make a statement about women in sports. You're it, and I hope you can take it. He was very tough on me, but he made it possible for me to become what I became. I really believe that.
How did he do something special for you?
Speed camera ahead.
He was just there. I mean, he was, there were times where I think I could have been fired and wasn't,
Yeah.
because they were looking for an excuse, but, I really had an ally and the man who owned the team. And he wanted to be, George, I think, is totally misunderstood, and you know that. I mean, there are a lot of things that maybe you didn't like, but George, he wanted to do something special. He thought he saw in me a woman who could make him be the first owner to give a woman a full-time job on the
I
air.
understand that. No, that part of it, I understood that. These are dumb questions. I mean, because I can only ask you right off the top. I know nothing about baseball. What would be your favorite call or your moment from your time with the team?
Really, I think it was my
Yeah.
favorite keeps changing every year because there are so many great things that happen. When Aaron Judge broke Roger Maris's home run record a couple of
Like,
years
share,
ago,
subscribe.
I got Roger Maris Jr. came and was around. So I got to be around Roger Jr., who looks just like his dad, and watch Aaron Judge, watch his mother as he broke this unbelievable record. It's not calls of games that win or lose. To me, it's the humanity of the game. I will remember Jim Abbott, who had one hand, pitching a no-hitter at Yankee Stadium in 1992, I think it was, 92 or 93. I like the humanity of it, the people. Anybody can tell you, set stats. He hit 322. Anybody can look that up. But it's the stories. It's, the day Yogi and George made up. Those
Tell me.
Well, George Steinbrenner and Yogi Yogi Berra, I'm sure you know this, that they were estranged, that's a nice word, for 14 years. And actually, I had to do a show at Yogi's brand new museum in 1999, and the program director said to me, wouldn't it be great if you could get George and Yogi to make up on the air? And I said, oh, sure. And then George called me a few days later, and I think it was when Joe DiMaggio started to fall ill, and people around him were getting ill. And he said something to me, and I said, George, I want to talk to you about Yogi. And he said, what about him? And as soon as he said that, I said, all right, go for it. And I said, I think you guys should make up. And he said, well, maybe spring training or something like that. And I said, no, you can't. It has to be on the air, and it has to be at Yogi's museum. And darn it, Cindy, if he didn't come, get on an airplane and come to Yogi Berra's museum in Montclair, New Jersey in the middle of winter, flew up, and they made up, and it was great for me. Made up on the air. But darn if he didn't do it. So in his mind, he wanted something to push him so that he and Yogi Berra could be back together, and and then Yogi started showing up every day at the Bob like Brett Peter D and showing everybody around, and it was great. But that was George. He wanted something to happen, he would do it, and he took a big thing of humble pie there. He brought in an airplane in the middle of January and flew to New Jersey so that this could happen.
Well, just going to New Jersey alone is a big one. What about the souvenir?
I have things that mean something to me. I have my favorite picture is the 1996 World Series when he took a picture of me and Mariano Rivera. That was, nobody knew we were there, and I was talking to him, and that's being in the Hall of Fame. I've got some great pictures of Jeter, his last game when he was saying goodbye to everybody in the last game. He was crying, and we were hugging, and I have those kinds of souvenirs. Actually, I have something Ricky Henderson gave me, but they're not just somebody's scorecard that I don't know. It's something that meant something to me.
Okay, we're getting near the end, but I don't understand why the astronomical raises, the money that they are getting. People are starving. We're all having difficulties. They are getting so much money, it's unheard of.
I'm with you. And all I can think of, I absolutely agree with you. But it is a business. I find it hard to think that way because I don't think that way. But you can be sure that if somebody is paying $700 million to a player, they are making more than $700 million.
No, there's something that I do not understand.
I don't understand it either. It's not something that I can comprehend. I think that we think of it as a children's game, as I describe it, and as you've described it. And I'm talking about feelings and how I feel, and sitting with my grandfather and what George meant to me. And they're talking about $700 million. It doesn't compute in my mind. It just doesn't.
They're also talking about hookers. That's another thing. You wouldn't be talking about hookers, but they are
hookers.
Well, that's as much as the money they're getting. Are we able to discuss that or not?
I don't know that they don't discuss that with me. I'm an old woman. I don't see that.
But you were young before. Didn't you ever discuss it?
No, I never did. I was too afraid to do that. I was going to be business law.
Well,
I was going to be so
welcome back.
so that nobody would ever think there was any
Dr. Ray,
hanky-panky
welcome
going
back.
on.
Dave E,
I was
welcome
very
back.
serious, but
Oh, you're so freaking boring. Oh, for Christ's sake. I mean, really.
Yes, but you are not.
Thank you, Judy, for coming on with me. I loved it. I loved the game. I loved the fact that we were all there for opening day, and I hope to meet you in person.
Okay, thank you. This is an honor for me, Cindy. Thank you very much.
Camera ahead.
Pleasure. Bye-bye.
At Premier's Luxury Link headquarters in Brooklyn, we have only the most highly skilled and customer service employees. That means you will always receive the highest quality luxury car service you could ever possibly believe. We're New Yorkers alone, of which we are proud. No car brokers or leasing companies ever allow. Where your luxury Lincoln car are concerned, you will never have to wait. But come in, anytime, early or late. You will be royally treated in every way needed. Most important, it is where real luxury car value will always be found. They offer the biggest discount around on every brand new 2024 luxurious Navigator in good old New York Town. We will always do what is respectful and fair for you. Is premium luxury Lincoln the best? Boy, I guess.
Real New York, 77 WABC. A name you know, who's in the know. It's the Cindy Adams Show, 77 WABC.
So, John Sherman, I mean, you've been the voice of the Yankees going back to the Stone Age. How did it happen? How did you get there?
It's one of the luckiest stories you'll ever hear. I was on the air in Atlanta, broadcasting basketball and baseball, the Hawks and Braves, and WABC owned the rights, Capital Cities owned the rights to the Yankees. And so one day, I got a call from a producer, and he said, would you like to do the Yankees? I said,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. And I said, I would love to talk to you about that. We have a new general manager, and he hates the broadcast team. They're fired at the end of the year. And I said, well, does this guy know who I am? And he said, no, he's a big fan. He had been a sports fan, and he had listened to me in the 70s at WMCA, the Nets and Islanders, and then he'd watch on TV, and TBS would come into every living room in America. Well, anyway, the end of the story, Cindy, is I actually got the Yankee job without an audition. And I didn't have an agent, and I called up a buddy of mine who's a lawyer I'd worked with on the air, Mike DiTomaso, and I said, Mike, call this guy up. His name was Fred Winehouse. Call this guy up and make a deal. And a day later, Mike called me back and said, we have a deal.
And how much?
How's that for luck?
How much? And how much in those days?
How much money?
Yes.
Well, it was pretty good. It was enough to come to New York and live, and then get married and have 4 kids, so it's all worked out.
Well, because the monies today are so extraordinary, they're frightening. You know, $1 million an hour or something like that. These guys are getting. Okay, you are a native New Yorker, are you not?
Speed camera ahead.
East Side, Upper East Side, GES.
Pretty good, pretty good. Did you play
By the
baseball?
way,
Yeah.
and I didn't get this in. I've been a fan of Joey and Cindy Adams since I was a kid. And I can recall, of course, I'm not a kid anymore. I'm 86. I recall getting a book, reading a book that your husband wrote, and it was fabulous. One-liner after one-liner. So I've been, I have great knowledge of the Adams family, and it's a wonderful knowledge.
Thank you. I have very small knowledge of baseball. Did you play it when you were a kid?
Sure.
What
I
did you
played
play?
football, basketball, and baseball.
What did you play in baseball?
I'm a lefty. I played first base.
Well, I don't know anything about baseball. I don't know why grown men are running around in rompers. I have no idea why this is. And everybody is crazed for baseball. Why?
Because they make a lot of money, that's why.
Yeah, but even before they made a lot of money. That's why I was asking you what you were paid. Because everybody was paid little, and now they're paid astronomical. I don't understand that. Don't you think that that's something wrong with it?
No, you know what it means, Cindy?
What?
It means the teams in all these sports are making phenomenal money. How else could you afford to sign a guy for and you know the rest is history. You may not know baseball, but you know those names.
Oh,
Jeter
sure,
and
of course,
Mariano
of course.
Rivera.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. Listen, with all of your years, and with some of the old-time greats, and when George Steinbrenner was around, did you ever screw up something?
I can't explain this. He was a very tough guy with people,
Oh, I know, I knew you. Yeah.
but not with me. He was wonderful to me. And after a few years, he had, on a Sunday, they were not Steinbrenner in the newspapers. Yankees were lousy. But that was the reason. And I went on the air and said, gee, why don't they knock the players? They're the ones who aren't hitting or pitching. Anyway, I think he heard of it because a couple of nights later in Milwaukee, I'm going by a booth during a rain delay, and he stopped me and he said, John, I just want to tell you, you'll always do the Yankee game. So he was really great to me.
Oh, you were born on July 4th?
Yes. So see,
I don't remember. Did you ever celebrate it together as a kid?
no, we never had a dual party, but in the last several years, the Yankees have a gal named Gary Tomlin who takes care of everything. And outside my booth, they've had a birthday for me and a birthday cake, delicious cake, and all that jazz. So I'm very, very fortunate.
Are you going to be at the game? Were you at the game this weekend?
I haven't decided yet, but one thing you know, I watch every game. So I will watch. Beginning of the year is very exciting. Opening day is very exciting. And then you know what, Cindy?
What?
Then they stop playing, and then they have 161 more. It's a long season, and filled with a lot of ups and downs.
But the rules have changed, or the game has changed. I am not a sports fan. I don't understand it. But I know that the rules in the game, I know that the money has changed. But haven't some of the ways changed?
Yeah, they want the pitchers to pitch quicker because the games were taking so long. And they have the designated hitters, so a pitcher doesn't have to hit. And every team plays every other team. It's not strictly American and National League. But outside of that, the game is the same. And the fans prove it. The fans keep coming out. And there'll be a sellout in Yankee Stadium tomorrow for the first game, and on.
What about it? What's it like with them when we don't see them, when they're on their own plane? Are they drinking? Are they dressed? Are they what?
Well, that's a good question. I think most of them are texting. Those phones come out, and I don't have one of those. I'm so isolated that I still have a flip phone. But yeah, on the flights, I read. I've read for all these years. I love reading.
Okay, everybody. Trader Joe, I'm gonna get one tomato in Trader Joe. Thank you, everybody, sticking around. It's short and sweet. See you tomorrow. Peace and love. Peace and love. Trader Joe, one tomato. Trader Joe, one tomato. Trader Joe, one tomato. Thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow. Peace and love. Peace and love. Trader Joe, one tomato. Put to the side. See you mañana. Peace and love. Peace and love. Thank you, everybody. See you mañana. Peace and love. Peace and love.